understand. And we have his mother here today, who is a wonderful woman, Miss Sally Marr. And also we have Lenny's best friend, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sandy Barrett. Come on, let's hear it out there.
Wait. Thank you, sir. Well, I just want to make one correction.
Right.
I wasn't Lenny's best friend. I was lucky enough to play him.
Oh, you weren't.
And I
his
knew
best
him.
friend?
No,
Oh,
I knew him, and I was lucky enough to play him. But I'm sure
I know
played
that.
Lenny on Broadway and out here. But I wasn't his best friend. That would be a lie. There'd be 15 guys who would kill me tomorrow
Yeah.
at,
Oh,
Schwab,
yeah,
at
yeah.
Schwab's.
Jackie,
15 people at Schwab's would destroy my life
Now,
if I
why-
ever said I was his best friend.
But anyway.
But I'll tell you how I am his best friend in a certain way. Or grateful, anyway, that part of friendship. Because if we're celebrating Lenny's birthday, I think, Skip, if you don't mind,
Yes.
the first thing to remind some people who may not realize this out loud anyway, maybe it was never said, and I'm glad I have the opportunity to say it, but guys like me, or Richard Pryor,
Right.
or George Carlin,
That's
or
right.
Jerry Stiller and Ann Mira, or Joan Rivers, or Robert Klein, or David Steinberg, maybe, or David Brenner, or Saturday Night Live, or Laugh-In, or All in the Family, and like that, never could have earned a living.
I see.
Because Lenny was the one that had the guts and the imagination
He was the one who
to
started
bust
it
all the barriers
Right.
that people always knew were full of shit and
That's
they
right.
believe weren't.
That's right. He started it all. He was the original one. Sally,
It started in the cradle.
is that where it started?
That's
in
right.
the cradle?
It started in the
Here's-
cradle when his mother
He was the original too. Here's the original one.
Right.
No.
Boots. Boots.
It-
Boots.
No, I used the name Boots for when I first came out. That was Lenny's idea. He was working burlesque, and I had a group with Jackie Gale, and I was going back to New York. Sally Marr and the Escorts.
I know he worked
You know, I was
burlesque.
a stand-up comic. you
Right.
know that, you know.
Yeah, I know he worked burlesque because
worked
you know why?
And didn't you
I
fill it
subbed in for him on Pico and Western Avenue.
Did you know that?
I subbed for Lenny on Pico in the strip joint on his night off, and I got $25. Some agent,
Isn't it amazing? Isn't it?
$4 and Lenny.
25 a night.
Isn't it amazing, Skip, that that let's say you took brilliant material
Right.
and you put it on a scale and you said, I wonder where that kind of brilliance came from. He probably worked concerts where everybody was quiet and adorable and well-behaved.
Right.
And that's how come he had the time and the freedom to invent all this genius material.
Yeah.
But that ain't the way it happened. The amazing thing about it is he worked the single toughest sewers and garbage
That's right.
cans in the universe.
Toughest.
And still managed to form this absolutely beautiful material. That's why I think Lenny's very important to other comedians, only because once you've studied his material, I mean, in my case, I studied it to play it, but even before I was lucky enough to play it, I was studying it.
Right.
You know, it's a fancy word for semi-rip-off. But I was studying it for sure, and I realized that the best thing to remember about Lenny was the quality of the material and the delivery. So that when you're beginning to feel that you're getting terrific, he's a perfect reminder you're not, and you got plenty to go.
Right.
And that's a very valuable man.
But he had a lot of hecklers in his day, right, Sally? That's when show business, when you can handle hecklers in strip joints. We had hecklers those days.
Yeah, but
He handled them great.
They didn't bother him.
No.
And he handled them very good-naturedly.
Yes.
You know, there was when he worked Ann's 440, you know, the first
Uh-huh.
time he'd worked in San Francisco, and there was a heckler back there swearing his head off, and Lenny's trying to do an impression of James Dean with a piece of straw. Lenny, the actor, loved to show his profile. And he was doing it, and the guy kept saying, Lenny's not letting a drinker. I say, what the hell kind of a shit out of this? Or screaming and swearing. And then he kept quiet, and I thought, what's he going to do now in the middle of his act? He let him talk. He let him swear about 3 or 4 times, and finally said, name dropper.
Lenny wanted to be a dancer.
No, you're wrong.
No? Am I?
No.
And here I'm on
Lenny
the
was
second
a
one.
klutz. I don't think you have much information.
klutz.
Where am I going? I don't
I don't know
know.
where you got all. I had a dancing school
Uh-huh.
for years.
Oh, you had the
And in
dancing school.
1942, I became a stand-up comic. And did you know, for some information, I
Uh-huh.
was the first female stand-up comic in New York City.
I didn't know that.
Now you know it.
Now,
Now
yeah.
the world knows it. Now the whole world knows it.
And your name was not Sally Marr at that
Sally
time.
Marr.
Was it Sally Marr?
Yes,
Yes?
Sally
I see.
I changed it for a while because I didn't think I was going to stay out here.
Did you work the Catskills and all that?
No, I was a flop. I really was a flop in the Catskills. I was doing a satire, Lady Macbeth, hark to the voice of my father, the words easy to speak. What did she say?
Perfect for the Concord. Perfect.
I really was a flop.
A satire of
But
Macbeth.
I'll tell you what was funny is when I was walking into the places, And the women that stopped me and said, "What are you doing? Where are you running?" I said, "I'm going to rehearse." "Rehearse what? What do you do?" I said, "Sing, I dance, I talk." "Oh, so you talk?" "I talk too. What else do you do?" She said, "What do you do in the wintertime?" I said, "A leather coat." Now, when I left there, that was the material that I used to get laughs somewhere else. Where the Jewish people ate ham.
I see.
It was a different element.
And you did Lenny on Broadway.
Yeah,
What year was that? In I saw it with
Cliff Gorman.
Cliff Gorman
Cliff was
before I went to
wonderful,
Europe.
yeah,
See, I
and
was in
then
Europe when you did it. I did see you. I heard you were fabulous.
I was terrific.
Yes, you were.
And
You were
shy.
fabulous.
And
That's
wait, she said the best. Hold it, I want this recorded.
Yes.
And I'm shy and modest. No, I think I was wonderful.
Yes.
I think that, you know, I don't want to play fake cute. I don't think I was wonderful in everything I ever did, so I have the right to say it in this one.
Yes.
I was wonderful, number one, because in some crazy way it felt so damn natural. I had already known Sally when I first came out here to do my first series, Hey Landlord. She befriended me and began moving me in and out of the LA people she knew I had to know to stay what she called New York funny, energy funny.
Yes, right.
And if not, you become like Mr. Adorable situation comedy. And she was wonderful to me, and I knew Kitty, and I had always felt
Kitty
something.
is his wife.
No,
I mean, his daughter.
His daughter.
I know. I wish I'd get it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, right. His daughter.
His daughter,
Yeah,
name is
Kitty.
He's talking about Lenny Bruce, the
Lenny-
ventriloquist, another
No,
guy.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I know.
It's a funny show.
It's another guy. It's his birthday, too. He works on
October
Fairfax.
13th.
What the hell are you doing here?
Where is Kitty now?
Kitty's singing.
Oh,
She's
by
singing.
the way, she's working with George Carlin, and I guess
She's
enjoys
wonderful.
listening to
I hear
him
she is.
on his
Yeah.
act.
She's wonderful. She's sexy on stage. She's attractive.
She works back
She's
east.
not frightened. She
Oh, great
she
presence.
sings jazz, blues, rock.
Yes.
Now
Yeah,
she's
she's
got
damn
a
good.
rock singer. She's a road group. Working with George Carlin, and she's recording her label. I don't know
Great.
what.
I'm saying all these nice things about her because I don't want her to do jokes. I'm afraid maybe she inherited something.
She did.
And it's
she
an
does.
Now, getting back, what year was this you did Lenny on Broadway?
Lenny was 71
And you did it,
to
how long
72.
did you do it?
I did it 3 months on Broadway. I replaced Gorman. I got really good reviews.
Yeah, I saw it.
And then we brought it here to the Aquarius Theater in Los Angeles, where it was a smash. And then, here's the one that interested me, was in San Diego. And
Yeah, I remember you did that.
Yeah. Well, the reason I want to talk about San Diego is, forget me for the minute, because it was one of those theaters called, the hell was it? The Off-Broadway Theater, San Diego. And they played summer packages, adorable little innocent, non-offensive, no way out. You couldn't offend anybody on the earth. Like Eve Arden in How's Your Summer House? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Whatever it is.
Yes.
That kind of summer package. Van Johnson and Tiptoe Through the Tulips. Nice and warm and family and American and true. Wait. Now watch. The power of the attraction of honest comedy. Lenny Bruce stood for everything that they were afraid the San Diego audiences hated.
That's right.
San Diego was a conservative, retired Navy
Right.
town. They had a couple of colleges. They were afraid all the kids were like born-again Christian, right-wing, superb conservatives of America. They thought we would die. We went in for 3 weeks. You could not buy a seat, and they extended us for 3 more. Had never been done in the history of the theater. Standing ovations every night, and I accept some of that. I was good. But you know what they were really applauding? They were applauding Lenny's audacity.
That's what
They were applauding Lenny's guts, because no matter what they were feeling politically, socially, you know, what's good taste, what ain't, what's clean, what's dirty, they knew that they were watching something so goddamn powerful and real that there was no way you couldn't respect it.
Well, did you know?
And that's what knocked me out, not L.A. and New York. Who didn't think it would be a hit
San
in New York or
Diego.
L.A.?
Wait a minute.
But San Diego.
San
Yeah.
Diego. What
Yeah.
about Broadway? Do you know what
Yeah.
I observed?
Well, you did
All
before
those,
me.
No, well, all those women from the B'nai B'rith and the Hadessas.
Loved it.
They loved it, yes.
Suave.
They
Wait
loved
a
it.
minute. They wouldn't go to see him alive, but after
they-
he passed away, it was
Yes.
all right to pay $10 and
Yes.
$15 and $20
Yeah.
for a ticket. Because Lenny was, you know, Lenny wasn't here anymore. It's okay
Yes.
now.
Right.
I think that was part of it, but also it comes back to what I said at the beginning. And if I sound heavy, I apologize, but it is a birthday show, and I want him to get all the gifts that it is.
Right. He deserves
Which
it.
is some out loud thank yous.
Right.
The truth is, the reason they could laugh by the time it got to Broadway and all the rest of it, and it was a genius production. Tom O'Hagan was wonderful. Marvin Worth had guts. The Jules Fisher, the lighting guy, you know, the writer, everybody was terrific. By the time I got there,
Julian Barry.
Julian Barry,
Wrote the-
thank
wrote
you,
it.
thank you. By the time I got there, you know, a lot of work had been done, so I was lucky. I mean, I added my thingers.
Yes, right.
But the truth of the matter is, that Lenny was there in spirit, because you couldn't even have thought of doing a play like that on Broadway, which is about 10 years more conservative than San Diego, even though they think they're hip.
Yes.
Very conservative.
You know, he said to me, what do you think about the show? I said, I saw it on Broadway with Cliff Gorman. And I said, and somebody said to me, what did you think of everybody that played Lenny? I said, the only one that ever played Lenny that I thought was Lenny was Sandy. They said, really?
That's what they said.
Thank you,
Well,
Sal.
You're the mother. You should know.
So I said,
That's
wait
right.
a minute. I said, I'm the real critic.
That's
I
right.
said, that was my kid.
That's right.
And ask him what I did the night that I saw that
Yeah,
play.
yeah.
What did
She walked out in one scene and cried.
No, I
One
walked out,
scene
I
in
got
Act
my
Two.
car,
Yeah.
and before I knew it, I was in Malibu. And I never drive away from Hollywood. And I'm in Malibu. You know how funny that
Where she
was?
met my mother, who was crying at the pain that I was play acting. It wasn't even real. So the two of them were on a bench near the water. It was impossible. You couldn't live with these people.
Did you have anything to do with Lenny's movie?
I had
for
everything to do.
Marvin
I had
Worth,
everything to do with it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
You
because
advised.
when Lenny passed away, I just knew that some schmucks were going to take his material. I just knew it. And they were going to misunderstand it, and they were just going to tear it to shreds, and it was going to be a dirty movie. And Lenny wasn't dirty.
Great.
It's like I hear people saying four-letter words, and I'd love to walk up to them and say, why are you saying that? You must tell me why you're saying those words, because my son didn't talk that way. He really didn't. So I don't think anybody really listened to Lenny's material. I really wish everybody go out there and try to get an album just to listen to what he had to say. And the words that he used was just something to throw it across, to punch it
Yes.
out.
Well, there's a difference. If every once in a while he used a word.
Well,
Yes.
so did I.
Wait. He didn't pick the word because, oh boy, look, I'll show them that I know the
Yeah.
word.
Word, right.
The word, usually he was doing a routine, and here's him talking as him, and then he would describe, let's say, a store owner he had met. And the store owner would say, rah, 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 rah. So the language, when it was off color, was coming from the character's mouth, very rarely Lenny's mouth. He was depicting a character he was inventing, and he knew in his head that that character would talk like that. If you're going to make believe you're a gangster for 15 seconds to get a laugh, gangsters do not talk like people with doctorate degrees.
Right.
They talk like gangsters.
Right.
So so you're going to use that language. But
Yeah.
Lenny himself didn't use the words the way a lot of the young comics do now, which I see now. I'm going to be called an old Jewish dying man. Watch, I can't go to the Improv anymore. It's
Or
over.
the Comedy Store.
It's over
right.
for me in
No,
three
no,
places
no.
in L.A.
No, be honest.
But
you
the
know.
truth of the matter
Right.
is that to say the word if it fits the material
Right.
is more than accurate. You're allowed.
Yes, yes.
But to say it so you prove you're hip ain't hip.
Thank you. Sandy, you're absolutely right.
You know, it's not black or white. It's
Yeah.
not that either you never say the word and you try to make believe you're the most innocent person on the earth and everybody knows you're full of shit.
Yes.
And it also isn't the other way, where you've got to talk like a sewer just to prove it's the 20th century.
Yes.
Lenny never did that.
No. No.
Well, you know, he wasn't a follower.
Yeah.
Now, you know, people, somebody once interviewed Lenny, and they said, where did you learn how to use those words? He said, what do you mean learn? Don't doctors talk like that at home? Don't professors say, hey, screw you? He said, my mother's always
That's
used that
natural, right,
language,
right,
and I
right.
didn't think anything.
Yes.
And I'm going to say, I would tell her something, and she'd say, oh, screw him. Well, maybe not the average mother talked like that to her child.
Yes.
He said, well, my mother did. My mother was a very liberated, free spirit. He said, so she wasn't the ordinary lady, and not a question of being Jewish, Irish, or,
Yes.
or French. She was just a very honest woman that whatever she said, whatever she thought about, she would say it. And you would have
Where
to-
did he meet his wife, honey?
In Baltimore.
In Baltimore, in a strip club, right? When he
Yeah.
worked there, yeah, right. Which club was that?
No, I don't think that it was a...
I worked a
she
club there,
worked in the
too.
Club Charles.
Charles, right,
And
that's-
he worked
yeah.
in another club. And they met, what was that little...
Delicatessen or
comic
something?
that
It was a
played
delicatessen
the
where I used to
trumpet.
go
Yeah,
with
played
Tubby
trumpet.
Boots and all
Yeah,
those people,
he
yeah.
introduced them, yeah.
Yeah, Tubby.
They both worked at the Club Charles
Yeah.
and another club, I can't think of the
Yeah.
name.
Lord Buckley started around there, too. Wasn't he
Yeah.
around there?
It's too
Lord
bad.
Buckley?
He's just on his records. Somebody's making some noise about Buckley now.
Buckley, yeah, right.
It's too
This-
bad
I
he
think-
never had the guts to do it then.
Yeah. How's Lenny's records doing? Albums? It's
Still doing good.
still
It's
very
on
good.
cassettes now.
It's great,
and,
yeah.
yeah, a lot of things are happening.
What are you doing, Sandy, at the moment?
I just finished, thank God, Woody Allen's next movie.
You did? Oh.
Yeah, it's called Broadway Danny Rose. And it'll be out January 27th, I think he said, 28th, something like that. Broadway Danny. It's a very funny movie, very
I just saw you
charming
on TV,
movie.
you know. Just a few days ago, you were on with Gina Rollins, I think, was that great? You were just great.
Thank you.
You were just
But
great.
this-
What was the
this-
name of
this
that
week-
movie? I just forgot the name.
I don't remember.
It was great. It was great.
I don't remember.
John Cassavetes, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Film.
John,
It was a great film. You
something
did
with a
wonderful.
housewife or
Yes,
something.
you were
And tell
wonderful.
them what we're doing.
But
What are you doing?
not we, you. I'm only helping.
Okay.
We're putting a book together for Sally
You're
What
kidding.
about August?
in her
Then
autobiography.
I know the real Lenny.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah.
You're doing it? You're helping it?
I'm helping her the same way you're helping us at this moment.
Uh-huh.
I used to host a talk show, so
Right,
I know
you
how to
did.
ask questions.
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to sit with Sally and ask the questions that I think people would want to know the answers to.
Right.
And then she'll go. That's all. And it'll be the first time maybe in the history of books where it won't be edited, it won't be reshaped, quote unquote, to
Right.
make it a book, which he said is what will be the book. Because you can't edit this mouth anyway, so
Yeah, you can edit this mouth.
know.
You really have to put your foot in my mouth.
Oh, you're adorable.
you can't edit.
I
You
love
cannot edit a waterfall.
He's doing an album.
Yeah, you are
He's
doing
an
it?
album.
Really missed you, Sandy. I was just wondering where...
I took.
You're an S, right?
I'm an S graduate.
You're an S graduate?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me about S.
Can't you
I
tell
really
he
don't...
smokes?
What is what is S all about?
S is a 2-weekend training thing that is put together in a way to make you face yourself with no
Right.
distractions for 2 weekends. That's the way I word it. I don't like all that consciousness
Yeah.
that's attached to it. It's your consciousness has to be raised if for 2 weekends there's no way out for you.
Uh-huh.
You can't take a snack break whenever you want to. You can't go to the bathroom whenever you want to. You can't smoke. So for 2 weekends, even though you're in a room with 250 other people,
Right.
in an odd way, you're totally alone, and you got to ask yourself all the stuff you sometimes evade.
Yeah.
So it gets you very elated
Uh-huh.
at your life when you come through the 2 weekends because you realize, hey, no matter what went down, you're here, it's all okay.
I really benefited.
That's the point.
You look great, I
Did
must
you know
say.
that?
Yeah?
Did you know I benefited from S? I never went to S
Uh-huh.
because I thought I wrote the book anyway.
How did you benefit from it?
A girl that went to S sent me a mink coat and my granddaughter
Ah.
a diamond ring. This is only 3 weeks ago.
Interesting.
And rubies and diamonds
Uh-huh.
and diamond earrings. She went to S and she found out that it wasn't in the mink and I got the coat and I wouldn't wear it because I said I never wear a Jewish uniform.
That girl got it, and you
And
got
I
the
got-
ring. I think you did better. I think you got both.
Well, then I think they pay a high price for me.
Lenny, Sandy,
Sorry.
you look absolutely great.
Thank you.
Yeah, he looks
Thank you.
fabulous.
I'm a little too chubby.
Ask me what I'm
But
doing.
except
What
for
are
that,
you doing,
Well, I'm
darling?
auditioning for movies and for
Nah! Yeah! I'm running. Ask me what she's doing.
Ask me
She's
what I'm-
running people's lives.
I love her.
presenting the first gay comedian. There's been a million
You,
gay
oh, you
comedians.
what? You're presenting what?
Falstaff.
A gay
Falstaff.
comedian?
Yeah, but I want it
Really?
out in the open
Is she
because
really?
since Yentl and coming out and
Uh-huh.
she and Victoria and Jack Lemmon were dresses for years, nobody ever pointed their finger and said, hey, you know, I think.
Would you point your finger over there,
Is he
please?
going to be in men's clothes for this gay comic?
No,
or
this
just,
guy has
yeah.
been working for years, but he never worked to gay audiences, ever.
I saw him at
Ever.
the E Little Club in
Falstaff.
Beverly Hills years ago.
Yeah,
he was
I
there.
think so.
Good.
Yeah.
And 6 years ago, he just copped out.
Yeah.
I said, why? I said, you think I'm going to stay in the comedy store with all those kids and wait to go on? He says, I can't do it.
Isn't that the one was a priest?
Falstaff. No, that was,
Who am I thinking was a priest and then became a comedian?
Sister Teresa.
Right. Well, anyway. Well, so
Um,
he's going to be the only gay comic around. You're going to...
no, there's a lot of gay comics.
Right.
I've been gay comics for years. But nobody's really come out in the open and say, listen, I've got a gay comic
Mhm.
that can go out and say I'm gay.
Yes, yes.
And I told him, I said, since La Cage aux Folles on Broadway,
Yes.
they sold more tickets in 1 week than West Side Story sold in 6 months. That's history.
I know, yes.
Doesn't that tell you where
Yeah.
the world is at?
True.
That I said, you can come out and do all that and say, well, here I am. Nobody's
Yeah.
going to say,
That's right.
they didn't say it to Jack Lemmon,
Yes.
they didn't say it to
Yes.
Tootsie.
Uh-huh.
And now he says, you mean I could be a person like everybody
Yes.
else?
Oh, that's great. That's great.
You know, I would like to bring on a lovely young lady from New York City. I worked with her in New York, matter of fact, and she is leaving for New York very soon.
Yeah.
And she's a wonderful singer, Sandy.
Good.
And you'll like her, Sally. She has done a lot of films, and she's a busy young little actress here in Hollywood. And let's give her a nice big welcome. Very talented Annie Gabus.
Well, hello there, good old friend of mine. You've been reaching for yourself for such a long, long time. There's so much to say, no need to explain, just an open door for you to come in from the rain. It's a long, long road when you're all alone, and a man like you will always choose the long way home. There's no right or wrong, I'm not here to blame. I just want to be the one who keeps you from the rain, from the rain. And it looks like sunny skies now that I know you're all right. Time has left us older, wiser, I know why I am. And it's good to know my best friend has come home again, 'cause I think of us like an old cliche, but it doesn't matter, 'cause I love you anyway, coming from the rain. And it looks like sunny skies now that I know you're all right. Time has left us older, wiser, I know I am. Na 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 na, na 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 na. And it's good to know my best friend has come home again, 'cause I think of us like an old cliche, but it doesn't matter, 'cause I love you anyway, coming from the rain, coming from the rain.
Baltimore, right?
That's right. I
Yeah.
heard what you were saying about that. You know, I read the biography that Playboy Press put out that Honey wrote.
Oh, yeah.
Was that a factual one? Was she... Because sometimes I heard that Lana Turner, when she wrote her book, and by the time it got to press, it wasn't the thing that she was expecting it to be, and she wouldn't
Like what?
publicize it. Was it all factual? When was she happy with it?
Could we applaud again, and could you take a deep bow?
Did anybody hear me?
If we applaud
Did you
again,
hear
could
what
you
I
take
said?
a very deep bow?
You want to
Just
switch?
a gracious deep bow.
You want to switch?
There were a lot of things in the book that she really didn't want, and they printed it because she does have a daughter.
Yes,
And
I
there
know.
was quite a friction there, and it really wasn't Honey's fault. They just went ahead and...
That was a wild
She wanted-
story. That would
she-
be a great movie.
Yeah, she's trying to get it on as a movie.
I
She's
would
really
love to
having a
audition for
problem.
the lead.
But she'll
You know
get it
what?
on. She'll get it on.
You know what's crazy about
She's
the whole
very
thing?
good, Honey. So pretty.
Yeah. You know what's
She's
crazy
doing
about the
all right,
whole
honey.
thing? You'd play Honey well.
Yes,
She
you
would. Yes, she
Yeah.
would. Yes.
What's
Yes.
crazy about the whole thing? Who cares what happened? You know, I can't stand when people come up to me and say, "Is it true about Lenny? Did Lenny do this? Did
Yeah.
Lenny do that?
Who cares?
Did he really
Right.
die like this?"
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
don't
Do
care.
they ask, what did Picasso do in 1938?
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Right. Right.
Does it matter, or does it matter that he painted
Right.
Guernica?
Yeah.
You know, does it matter that Chaplin liked whatever Chaplin liked?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Yeah.
paid his dues enough because he liked
Right.
that.
Yeah.
He got kicked out of America, which he entertained for 50 years, finally
Yeah.
in his 80s, and a doddering little person. They put a star on the street
Right.
of the city he built.
That's right. He built
know?
it. I
You know what
agree,
happened?
Sandy.
And it was-
Genius makes its own rules. I'm not a genius. I'm a very competent professional person. But Lenny was a genius. You
Yes,
know,
he
once-
was.
You can't ask a guy who can think like that to live like an accountant. It's
one
not
would expect it.
accurate.
We have
It's
pictures.
Not accurate.
We have pictures right now. Sally, are these, would you want to explain?
Oh,
So you
yeah.
can pan them on the
Oh,
camera?
this is taken up at
It's Lenny.
home. And this was about
It's a great,
19
great
Doing
picture.
his impression of Barbara Carrera.
And this is when he this is before the big storm. That's when he worked at Crescendo. The trouble
Crescendos.
hadn't started yet.
That's where Shelley Berman stole the phone.
Yeah. And a lot of people didn't know that Lenny liked to fish. They just thought he liked to say dirty words.
And, I used to sub in for him when he used to go
Skippy
fishing,
Lowe-
right?
Skippy Lowe subbed in for him, but he didn't get the whole vocabulary. So he didn't get that.
He's still learning.
So they didn't let him
Let's
come
get
back.
that in.
Right.
We had this show.
He wouldn't use those words.
Annie, you're a busy young lady in this town. You know, she's very busy. She just got through doing 2 movies, right?
Yes.
Which ones?
I just finished working with a friend of yours, Chuck Mitchell, who was
Yeah.
Porky, and we just finished Electric Punker, that's going to be out this summer. And what happened when in this movie was Chuck Mitchell. I was in Schwab's drugstore.
Yeah.
I swear this is true. And I walked in, and Chuck Mitchell introduced me to a producer. And the next thing I knew, I was in this film on one condition, that my lovely virgin brunette hair, at least there's something in Hollywood that's
She was a
so
brunette.
was
Brunette.
flowered. I had to bleach it as a blonde, and so it looked so good in the dailies that I decided to keep it, and
It's beautiful.
It looks great on you.
I'm very
Looks
happy
good
with
on
it.
you.
Of
Yeah.
course, when I first met Skippy, he was also a brunette too.
In New York.
So now we're two
I used to be a blonde, and I dyed my long-lost virgin hair into this brown mess of soil.
Well, maybe that's the problem.
I think the beautiful thing about it is they both retained their virginity.
You're right.
See, blondes don't have more fun.
Anyway, I want to, Annie, but you're going to New York, right?
Yes, I'm co-hosting with Frankie Avalon the Miss Legs of America pageant.
What's all that about, Miss Legs? What do you
Well,
mean?
somebody had to do it.
Uh-huh.
And they asked me to do it with Frankie because of a show I did at the Coconut Grove for Celebration 1 that was held a few months ago.
Right.
So it's to choose. All these girls from all over the United States have great legs. They'll make Juliet Prowse cry and cringe. And I
Go ahead, Sally. Go
I'm
ahead.
looking for somebody in Arizona here. So all the girls from all over the United States are coming in, and they're going to do it at the Hilton. And Ted Turner is going to produce it, and we're going to syndicate it and see what happens from it. But I think that'll be fun. Oh yeah, a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
When do you leave for New York?
What time is it?
Well, anyway, you know, you look great since I've seen you last.
Well, I've changed.
Yeah, blonde.
Yes, yes.
You like
I'm
it?
living in Hollywood.
Let me ask you something. For real? Do you feel different?
Well, I feel
Oh, I mean it.
I
do you?
feel like a brunette. Except every morning when I wake up and I look in the mirror, I'm still surprised. So I'm getting used to it.
People are
Sandy, somebody at Variety said to me the other day, "Excuse me, were you Annie Gabus?"
are people reacting with you?
Yes.
Are guys hitting on you more?
Different feeling. Yeah.
Seriously, are guys hitting on you more?
I didn't do it for the guys to
I
hit on
didn't
me
say
He's
more.
got more confidence, I think.
No, I mean that. Are guys hitting on you more? I'm just interested.
It's a different approach they're using now.
No.
More obvious, more subtle?
More obvious. That's the only thing I don't mind. I like little subtleties.
I met her when she first came around, and I will say she's got much more confidence when I first met her.
Right.
Thank
Good.
you.
Sandy,
Really.
I really want to thank both of you for coming here.
And I wish you
Sally,
Thank
I love you, darling.
And I'll
This
see you
is
again.
so good having you
Yeah,
here.
it was so nice
Okay?
of you to invite me.
And
Guys are
and you're
really
welcome.
getting more obvious since you blonde.
Annie, honey, thank you for coming, darling,
My
okay?
pleasure. My pleasure.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to leave you with a few words. A friend. A friend is someone who knows all about you and still likes you anyway. This is Skippy Lowe from Hollywood.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, friend.
Thanks again, dear.
This is nice. This is very nice.
To